Good morning. Today is a new month, the 3rd of June 2024, and I'm going to go through my trading plan for today. As always, before we start, let's just see what could be moving the market in the news. And we haven't got anything until 9:45 and 10 o'clock, so we've got PMI and ISM manufacturing PMI, so be wary at 10 o'clock today Eastern time. If you're in a trade, that could move the market a bit, and it's one of the 3 out of 3 on the importance scale. Okay, so let's pick up some levels today. I've just redone a few of my levels and they're pretty much similar to last week. One thing really, I'll just go to the daily. We barely moved over the last month, over the last few weeks. We're not far from where we started. We was at the beginning of May, was here, and we pushed up, we came down, and we pushed back up. So we're in no better position, kind of like we're waiting for something going sideways. So don't know whether we're just running out of steam, had a bit of rest, and then a little bit more, and then rest, and then we're going to see a big push up, or whether we're just going sideways for another push up, or we're going to see it reject, who knows. But we had a big engulfing candle on Friday, which took out, but only took out Thursday's small candles, so it's not like it's taken out days of candles, but we're coming into an area of interest. So I've got a few areas I'm watching. Back to the hourly, let's get a bit of volume again on the daily. So we had a big volume spike as well, with slightly increasing volume on the red days as well. So price is moving down, volume is increasing. It looked like it wanted to continue down, and then we had this big volume candle with a big wide range bar, bottom tail candle as well. It looks like a reversal, so be interesting to see. One of my plays is to watch for us to see what happens when we get back down to that bottom area. So what I'm watching for on the hourly is for us to come back into this area, and we've got this trend line, left it in place. I know it's invalidated now because it's broken it a few times, but I'm going to leave it there just in case we see it come back down. And if the market does sell off, we get back down into Friday's low, then I'll be looking for a bounce in this region. So I've got 52.18, 52.20 as a potential bounce area. That's the top of it. I prefer that because there's a bit more confidence in that area. We've got bodies of candles basically in that area. And zooming out, you can see there's an area of confidence where we've got bottom of a pivot there, and we've got tops of candles along there as well, bottoms of this area. So that's an area I'm really watching, 52.18. In fact, this week that will probably be my prime area to watch for a bounce, that area there. The next location I quite like for a bounce is this area here, 52.74. We've been watching that for a while, and I do quite like the fact it's an area of confidence. We've got tops of candles there and bottoms of candles. Bottom of this area, big move up. It is an area of demand. I've taken that demand zone out just for declutting my charts. Bottom of candle there almost, tops of candles, tops of candles. So it's quite a significant area. So I'm watching that area for a potential bounce, and that's at 52.74. You can see the red line, which is my 50 moving average, is starting to curve around, and it could even act as a natural resistance as well, or support I meant. And then potentially we've got a higher risk bounce area, pre-market low, yesterday's low. Not a big fan of that, only because we're quite close to it now. But you know, we've had a significant moves from these areas. We came in, we tested it, and then we pushed up, and then it's 5,300, isn't it? So it's a psychological number as well. We broke through, so we can watch that area again, 5,300 for a bounce, maybe down to pre-market low. And if we see continuation on this big move up, then I quite like the break and retest of pre-market high. However, the only reason I'm not a big fan of that area is because we're breaking up into all this resistance above, and we've got the point of control above, and we've got all this volume above us, so it can be hard to get through that area. So it's something to keep an eye on as well, whether we're going to come through that area. But it's a potential play, break or retest, so we watch that as well. Rejection wise, got this area of supply up here above the point of control. So we can watch 53.31, 53.32 for rejection in this zone. And then the next real place really is the all-time high, is this area here. We can watch 53.60 up to 53.70 for a rejection. And we could keep an eye on that area as well. And that's the top of this volume shelf. So all the volume is between that line and the point of control really up here. So it's going to be hard to get through that area. But if we do, then we've got a rejection area at 53.50. And I think that's it really. We've been watching 52.50 for a while, and that's another number we can keep an eye on. On Friday, we kind of blasted through it, came back down. It didn't really matter, didn't make any difference at all, even though previous days it looked important. So we can probably watch that area. If I zoom out a bit, you can see it's a bit of volume in that area as well. So it is an area of significance, but Friday didn't really matter. Everything just went through it. So I'm not too fussed, but I'm really watching 52.20. Basically, that's my area to watch for a bounce in this zone. Okay, let's look at SPY next. There you go. So I've had this zone in for a long time in SPY, and it's one of my old zones because now I'm doing them grey because I don't keep changing colours around. But originally that was an area of resistance or supply, and then it flipped and then it became an area of demand. And look at that, on Friday we came straight into it. The entire demand area was the bottom of that tail. So that's why I like to keep the stock levels up, because it just shows, you know, the price does come back and on where it was over historic candles. That's going back to the beginning of May, that was, and it's been there for some time. I'm sure if we go back even further, that's where I'd put it in there. So, and that's going back to April the 11th. So that's been in place all that time, and it's still in play now. And I'm still watching that area for a bounce. So I'm watching 52.18 down to 5.18 to 5.20. That's the area I'm watching for a bounce. So if we do come back down there, I'll be watching that. And then I do quite like this area as well for a bounce. This area of demand created, was supply, now it's demand, and that's 5.27. So I like this area for a bounce as well, this entire zone. And that's it. And then obviously we can watch this. We've got the 55.31.44, and then up to all-time high. So we'll just put in this area here as well. We can watch for a rejection up in that area. And I think that's it really. We can just seems anything more obvious where we are now. Yeah, no, we broke through that zone. If we come back down into there, we'll be interested to see what happens at 5.28, 5.25, 5.26 area. Quite like a bounce down there. Okay, NQ next. NQ doesn't look quite as strong as ES. I think it was partially utilities will help drive ES up on Friday. We've broken that hourly trend, came up into that area. What I'm watching for, where we had that level already, we've kind of come into it, broken it. So the next level to watch, you can watch 18,800, that area here for a potential rejection. And then we've got the level above, which is 18,837. That's area of confluence, a bit of volume over that side as well. Again, like ES, it's going to be hard. We've got lots of volume up here, and there's not much down. This is a void, which is probably why we saw big move down, big move up, because there wasn't much volume to hold it in place. So if I were to pick a level, I quite like where we are now for rejection. Level of confluence, got bottoms of candles, tops of candles, bottoms, 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 more bottoms. So yeah, where we are now, we can keep an eye out for a rejection, but obviously we've got to watch what happened on Friday. There's a big push up on volume as well. If we come back down into that area, maybe we're going to watch for an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So that's 18,520 for a bounce where we were there. But obviously this is the area I'm watching down here. I might readjust these zones to match the most recent pivots we put in. But we can watch 18,280, 18,290 for a potential bounce anywhere in this zone. I'm going to draw that zone in now. That's the zone we're watching for a bounce. And let's get rid of that one. Watch. Now I'll get rid of that level as well. This is the level, I like this level down here. Area of confidence. Probably about there, that's the area I like. So 18,271. Get rid of that now, we don't need that. And then for rejection around where the 200 moving average is, this area here at 18,800. They're the two areas to watch, what I'm interested in. QQQs. Start clearing some of these. We can keep an eye up here for all-time highs. We've got this area. Kind of watching that area. 461 for rejection. That's all-time highs. We're in the first rejection area, and we can see. Apologise for the noise. There's some building works going on in the house outside, and it's warm today, so I've got my doors and windows open. So hopefully it doesn't affect. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. I quite like this area here for a bounce at 442, and then this area as well I quite like for a bounce as well. Higher risk, 452 for a bounce as well. It's high risk because it's near to where we are now. If we break that area, I quite like the break and retest short, and potentially we can watch 449 as well for a bounce. So my two top ideas on QQQ will be the rejection up in this area and the bounce down in this area. SPX. Look at that for volume. What happened last time we saw volume that high? We saw a big volume spike on that day. It was a narrow range day, a big volume, and then we saw move up. Last time we saw volume spikes on that day, but we didn't get the big candles. But the difference is we had a big candle this day. So 5,300 is back in play again. We can watch this area for a rejection, come right into the 50 moving average on Friday, and I quite like the yesterday's low for the bounce as well. So we can watch 5,200 area for a bounce and 5,300 for the rejection, and that's it really. So let's quickly look at crude oil. 15 minutes till the market opens. It's right back in that zone now. So you know, I would like to take a long. There's a good long there. There's a good long there. You may have got stopped out on that long, but that was a good long there as well in the zone. But now we're in the zone a lot longer, and maybe it's putting in a bit of a base. Let's draw it in properly. Coming down, going sideways, putting in this pattern potentially. So we can keep an eye. We've got two plays we can watch: break out of this zone here, or the breakdown of that zone there. Break and retest of both. So I put some numbers on that. We've got 76.50 break and retest low, and we've got this top of this area of demand 77.11 break and retest long. So RSI's doesn't look like it's too oversold yet. And zooming out, we've got a big area, so maybe I can adjust the zone a little bit because we've got this area here. So let's keep an eye on that number, which is 76.11 for a bounce. So we've got, if that's the case, we could have a bit more room down. Yeah, still quite like the long. If we're playing this channel, then if we break over pre-market, we can watch for the break and retest long as well. Let's look at gold next. Gold. This level's come into play a few times last week, and that's 23.43. Break and retest a pre-market high and we will get over the 50 moving average, and we've got a target then of 23.76, or we can watch for a bounce in this zone, pre-market low area for a bounce, and that will be probably an area of confidence as well. So we put that level in. You can see it's pivots from Friday, bottoms of candles from 8th and 7th of May, tops of candles from the beginning of May as well, bottoms of candles. So it's an area we can watch for a bounce. But we want to see it either break down below or break up above. RTY. Yeah, I already like the play on here. So we've broken it, come back in. I think if it gets down to 20.94, we can watch for a bounce. That's a break and retest to continue this trend, which we're seeing. That's probably the only play I like. Don't really like rejecting. Maybe we get back down into the trend line area. We can watch for a bounce down here as well. Did it break? Hasn't quite retested the trend line when it broke, so maybe we might see a bit of a retest down there at this point of control as well. We've got the volume bar, lots of volume down there as well, so it could act as natural support around here. So if we get down to 2080 to 2070, we can watch that area for a bounce. Again, to continue the trend, we can watch for the break and retest or pre-market high with a potential target of this area, 2120. Zoom out. It's not all-time highs though. Let's just put that level in, and then we've got this zone right up here. This is the all-time highs. Let's just put that in. And then what I'm looking for is when we saw the biggest reaction. I'm covering that, so that takes in the top of that high and this big reaction there as well. We're far from that, so nothing to worry about for now, but it's there if we start seeing a bit of buyers coming in. And then we watch rejection at 21.31 as well. That's the top of that pivot, tops of these pivots there. Okay, next is YM, which is the Dow Jones. We can see there's a nice bottom it's put in. Hard to say if it's a head and shoulders pattern. You could argue to say it's a flattened one. Kind of breakout, the retest, and then the push up on Friday. So we come into this level, which we've been watching for some time. Area of confidence, you can see quite clearly. Big area as well, and then straight above that we've got a big area of volume as well. So this is where our volume is, around this area here, and it's an area of confidence up here. So tops and bottoms of candles, as you can see, all the way across. But it's a big zone. It's a big zone. So this is that area there. It's a big area to try and get through. There's lots of volume in that area. So if I were to collapse the numbers, I still quite like the rejection at 39,000 psychological number. Obviously you've got 40,000 up here as well. And then if we get back down into this region, I quite like the bounce. Don't really like where it bounced on Friday. I can't see any pivots really, apart from there was a point of control there, so there was a lot of volume in that area. So maybe that's a significant area. We can keep an eye on that as well. Smack bang in the middle of all of this confluence as well. So watch for Friday's low for a bounce and a break and retest of pre-market high. And that's it really. Let's look at Bitcoin on the daily. I prefer the daily when I'm looking at Bitcoin. Again, hasn't really done much since March. It's just been in this channel. And it tried breaking down. We had this inverse head and shoulders pattern. Broke it, retested, broke out, couldn't get above the highs, and it's just going sideways again. You could say that's another pattern forming there. We can watch that for the breakout. So break and retest long, or watch it for the breakdown. But until it clears the highs, 72.50, 72.500, or until it clears this lows, then it's hard to make any play in the middle of here. So there's no real play for me unless you're just scalping it. You can watch for the break of that area. You can watch for the breakdown of that area. You could say, let's draw some actual lines. So that area there, you could say it's broken that trend. You could say it's broken that trend as well. Yeah, it's tough. There's nothing there for me. So let's just look at ES again before we finish. We've got about 8 or 9 minutes. And on ES, I'll just recap my levels I'm watching for today, keeping it simple as possible. I want to try and if the levels don't trigger, then I don't really want to take a trade. So I've got a few levels on the screen. I won't go through all of them, but I'll just go through the main ones I'm watching this week. So may not get down there today, but I'm watching 52.10 down to 52.18. This is my preferred bounce area. If it comes down into that area, I don't think I want to I want to wait for the break of trend, watch it come back out of the area before I take the trade. Only because if it gets down and keeps going down, I don't want to be on the end of a edge falling knife. So I'm watching a bounce off of these levels, quite a significant area there, 52.70 to 52.75. I'm watching for 2 plays up here, either a break and retest long, but my reservations is we're going into point of control and volume, so potential resistance above, or I'm looking for a rejection back down, and then we've got this area here, and we can either watch it for a bounce, continuous channel, or watch it for the break and retest back down. And then we've got a bounce area at 52.75, which we just discussed. That's it really. If we do break out and we see continued buy-in, then we've got this area of supply to watch for rejection, and we've got all-time highs. Let's come over and we've got this level here where we touched it for quite a few times, and that's 53.50, and then all-time highs. Excuse me, at around 53.70. That's it. Thank you for watching on my other stream right now live. Appreciate that. Helps the algos, helps me a little bit on the channel. Okay, and also helps me see who's actually interested in this, and I know there's not many